Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin mi naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants here. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos Beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor, for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week, I am going to introduce you to a guy who works with clay. He has a gallery in downtown Puerto Vallarta. His name is Froylan Hernandez. But before we get to Froylan, let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta, the 1st of March, 2019. Corazon de Nina is having an event at River Café, and it's going to be called Artists for Orphans. It's a benefit for Corazon de Nina. And, of course, we know Corazon de Nina as our favorite orphanage here at the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. There will be a silent auction with music by P.L. Canella. There's going to be tapas and drinks and more than 60 paintings, watercolors, ceramic sculptures, mixed media art will be available for sale, with all the proceeds going to support the home's nearly 80 children. And as we know, Corazon de Nina is a shelter which opened in 2012, and it is an amazing place. And we have all the information for this event. It's going to be Saturday, March the 9th from 1 until 4. So if you're in town, stop on by, meet some really great people, and mingle and eat some tapas and buy some art, have some fun at the silent auction. Of course, it's all for a good cause. There is a suggested donation of 500 pesos, and you can get your tickets in advance if you like, over at Cassandra Shaw Jewelry, over on Basilio Badillo, or over at Lucy's Cuckoo Cabana. Also, up the street over at Basilio Badillo as well. There are other places and other ways to get tickets in advance for the event. Go to the show notes for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. You will find links and contact information there, so go to the silent auction if you can. Once again, it's on the 9th of this month. It'll be a great time over at the River Café, and if you've never been to the River Café, it is beautiful. It's on the river. And it's just a great place to have an event like this, so go on over there, meet some great people, and have a good time. Last week, I told you that Che Victor from the Gecko Band was going to be doing an event called Rock and Roll Changing Lives, and the event was a fundraiser to help a young boy who was kind of a sickly kid, and they wanted to raise money to help this young child named Juanito, and the event was a wildly successful event. I have pictures in the show notes, so go ahead and check them out. Che will be getting back to me with totals from the event. He'll give us some updates as to how Juanito is coming along. And he tells me that they plan to have this event as an annual event. So rock and roll, changing lives. We'll be back next year to help another young kid from Puerto Vallarta. So way to go to all you folks there, all the sponsors there as well. Grupo Diagnostique, Hand to Hand Brigade PV, and the American English Tree PV. You all rock. All you guys, rock along, rock, rock, rock. Anyway, I can't wait to see how little Juanito is doing. We will keep you posted as to how that's coming along. Now, a couple sad notes to report. We live in a retirement community here in Puerto Vallarta, so people get old and die, unfortunately. And we lost a couple Puerto Vallarta icons this last week. One of them actually was on the show last week, unfortunately. Jorge Peña. Jorge was the owner of the Hotel Marsol, and he passed away last Friday morning in his sleep, totally unexpected. And so they had services for him almost right away. And so very, very sad. Such a nice man. And then on Sunday, a longtime resident and author and humanitarian, Polly Vicars, passed away. Now, Polly was one of these ladies who was a lot like a lot of these people that I interviewed today. She retired, came to Puerto Vallarta, and put her heart and soul into helping people. And she was one of these people who, well, let me just read here from the Banderas News a profile about Polly. It reads, a Floridian by birth and a transplanted Kentuckian by marriage and a Vallartensis by choice, Polly and her husband Hubert, who have been married since 1951, have totally immersed themselves in the culture of Puerto Vallarta. After graduating from University of Kentucky in Lexington, she taught 6th grade and later entered Kentucky politics, in time becoming vice chairman of the Kentucky Democratic Party, a member of the Democratic National Committee, and a senior administrative assistant to Kentucky's only female governor, Martha Lane Collins. Since their retirement to Puerto Vallarta, both Polly and Hubert, also known as husband, have volunteered with the International Friendship Club, the Holt English School, and their first love, the America-Mexico Foundation, Incorporated, known as Vicars Vallarta. At the age of 63, Polly wrote Tales of Retirement in Paradise, Life in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and donated all of the proceeds from the sellout book to the America-Mexico Foundation. Many readers of the book began visiting Puerto Vallarta, considering retirement here, and many did. All funds generated by the book were contributed to scholarships for bright, ambitious Puerto Vallarta girls and boys, otherwise without the economic means to finish their educations. Polly's second book, More Tales of Retirement in Puerto Vallarta and Around the World, tells of the great life they found in Mexico and narrates their 4-month globe-circling voyage, including her newly acquired geographical, historical, and societal tidbits, introducing the interesting and entertaining people that she encountered along the way. Proceeds from the sale of More Tales also go to scholarship funds and can be bought from Amazon.com and from any member of Vicars Vallarta or at the bookstore in Puerto Vallarta. I wanted to check out Vicars Vallarta and, see what it was all about. And so I checked out their website. I'm going to read here from it. It says Vicars Vallarta AC is a nonprofit organization and authorized guarantee responsible for raising funds to administer a scholarship program for the benefit of low-income students with academic excellence in Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, Mexico. Our scholarships offer financial support that contributes significantly to the completion of their careers. We start the process from the basic level and give continuity and follow-up until they finish their degree. We want to touch lives and be part of those who make the difference. We are convinced of the importance of education in the development of our region and the impact it has on the quality of life of people. So, very nice. And, well, since I never really got a chance to interview Polly, I am going to make sure I get over to Biblioteca Los Mangos and over to the fine people over there at Puerto Vallarta, where their office is over there at Los Mangos. And I'll bring in an interview from them this summer when I get a chance. So I have a link to Polly's books in the show notes. And if you buy one of them or if you buy both of them, well, you'll be donating to Velas Vallarta as well. So how about that? Go take a look, read those books. Interesting how her writing actually brought people to Puerto Vallarta to retire. Now, from Vallarta Opina, we have an article about whale watching. Now, the whale watching season is almost coming to a close. We got probably another 3 or 4 more weeks of whale watching on the bay. And they interviewed a friend of the show, Astrid Frisch. I interviewed Astrid last year. And if you want to listen to that episode, it was last year, maybe a year ago in October, I think it was. But anyway, here she is from Vallarta Opina. And by the way, I'm paraphrasing because in some spots, this is translated from Spanish to English, so it can get a little sketchy. So bear with me here. Read 60% of whale tours in Vallarta are illegal, according to a specialist. The average statistics of each season up till 2018, because there are no figures here for 2019, that 60% of the boats that are on the bay to observe whale watching are not legal. That is to say, they do not have government permission to approach the whales. This 60% are known as private vessels or pirate vessels, which do not have authorization to do a tour. So 40% of the fleet are authorized, according to Astrid Frisch, biologist of ecology and conservation of whales and tourist services provider at Ecotours Vallarta. Veteran of the care of the whales that migrate in large quantities to the Bay of Banderas since 2004, participates in the photo identification and the monitoring of whales. And Astrid also revealed that the problem has been that the boats not only operate irregularly, but they do not look for whales. And instead, what the boats are doing is they're on lookout for groups of boats that are observing the whales, and then they approach them. She says the boats, when they are not looking for the whales or looking for other boats, well, this becomes very dangerous for the whales. And so, very, very interesting. She points out that distances must be respected and that they are not being respected. According to the official Mexican norm for the care of whales, small vessels with authorization must have 4 to 60 meters observation from the species, while medium-sized vessels such as catamarans are allowed to remain at 80 meters from the whales. But in cases of private boats of any size that have no authorization to conduct whale tours, they must remain 240 meters away. In all cases, the observation time should not exceed 20 minutes. But in the bay, only 40% of the tours that approach the whales have a permit, while the rest see the whales en route and approach dangerously. So, very, very interesting. Now, keep in mind, you guys, that if you are on a private boat, you must keep your distance. You can't just get on any boat. You can't ask some panga to go take you out to go look at the whales. It's not legal. Anyway, I have a link to this article. Happens to be in the show notes for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. So go ahead and check it out. Now, a couple of quick reminders and a couple of shout-outs. First, a shout-out to the gang over at Tile Park PV, over at Parque de los Azulejos. Those guys are rocking it. I'm telling you what. Natasha, and crew is doing a remarkable job. The benches, the planters, they're so cool. I have pictures in the show notes, or just go to their Facebook page and check out, how far they've come along. It's stunning, just beautiful. If you haven't seen it, it will blow you away. I'm telling you. Okay, and Saturday, the 2nd, tomorrow, is the anniversary of Babel Bar. So congratulations to Arancha over at Babel Bar. They're going to be open at regular times tomorrow, but they're going to be having live music from 5 o'clock until 10 o'clock to celebrate. So go on down there, have a good old time there at Babel Bar, and say hello to them and tell them congratulations, 2 years in business. I love that place. Great. Good job, you guys. All right, let's get on with the interview, shall we? Yes, I think we shall. Now, I love Puerto Vallarta, and I love it for so many reasons. One of the reasons is the energy, the creative energy of the town. The food is delicious, and it is like art, right? And there's great muralists. There are some beautiful murals popping up all over town. We've spoken with a couple muralists. We talked to Misael Lopez, Adrian Tacano, who, by the way, finished a humongous mural on the side of the Hotel Hacienda de Vallarta. It's on Insurgentes, just north of Basilio Badillo, and this is a gorgeous mural, you guys. Go to my Facebook page over at Puerto Vallarta Travel Show on the Facebooks and check it out. It's a fabulous, fabulous picture. Anyway, like the page if you have not liked the Facebook page, and you will get notifications as things get posted. By me over there, Vallarta stuff, of course. And remember that the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show also has a YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to that too. I take the audio from all of the podcasts that I do, and then I put all the pictures from the blog posts into the video. And so it's kind of cool. There aren't a whole lot of people that consume the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show on YouTube, but I must say there's probably about 50 people that listen, watch, whatever they do on YouTube. Anyway, let's get back. Let's get back to where I was. Anyway, where did I go? I went down a little hole. Anyway, like the page if you haven't done so. So this last trip, I was staying at this little Airbnb that I told you about a couple weeks ago up on Calle Abasolo in the downtown section of Puerto Vallarta. And every day I would walk past one of these murals of Adrian Tacano's. And this mural has these two children, one on either side of a doorway of the building, on the side of this building where this mural was painted. And it depicts these beautiful children playing with bugs, giant bugs. This is kind of a theme that runs through Adrian's art. One of his trademark things is bugs, and another is beautiful faces. And this mural has these kids with beautiful faces. It's fascinating. It frames this entryway to a ceramic art studio and a gallery where I happened to find Froylan Hernandez. And when I walked in there, he was busily getting ready for the art walk that was coming up later on that particular evening. And I asked if I could look around his shop, and he said, sure. So while I was there, he had a couple of ladies that came in, wanted to know a little bit about some of his pieces and some of the prices and his technique. And he took some time and talked with them and seemed like a very, very nice guy. So I figured, hey, I got to talk to this guy. His pieces I would say, are whimsical. They're very clever. Some are practical. He's got some paella serving dishes. He's got some platters. He's got some vases and stuff. But very, very colorful, and no two pieces were alike. They were all different. And so I asked if I could come back and talk to him, maybe do an interview, and he says sure. So after a couple of attempts to try to nail him down, because I was right up the street, so every once in a while I'd stick my head in and he was too busy or whatever, and I finally got a chance to sit down and to interview this very interesting artist. So let's go right now to downtown Puerto Vallarta. Let's find out a little bit more about this guy who makes his dough out of clay there on Calle Abasolo. The studio with the Adrian Tecano mural on the outside wall. Let's meet Froylan Hernandez, the ceramicist of Puerto Vallarta. Froylan, thank you so much for taking your time and talking with me today.
Okay, you're welcome.
Tell us about yourself. Where are you from? And are you from Puerto Vallarta?
No, I born in a state of Guanajuato in a town. Well, now it's a city named Irapuato. It's known like the capital of the strawberries.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Well, we love strawberries.
Yeah.
And when did you make your way to Puerto Vallarta?
Well, that happened, I will say, around 1996 or so, 1997. I've been here before, but when I was a student in the 70s, and I was looking for a place to make my living in the center, but it was kind of difficult to find places to make ceramic.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in my memory, then I came here to Vallarta, so I came, and then I found a job in the very same day I came.
Really?
Yeah.
And what were you doing when you came here?
I was walking in the town and asking people, so I hit to Mundo de Azulejos.
Oh, really?
That it was very accessible place still, but in those days it was many many people working there. It was, I think we was around 50 people, because we produce a lot of things there in ceramics. So I asked them for a job, but they said they was complete. And then I was walking out, and the owner stopped me and asked me, "Can you make models?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, but now we don't need nobody." Okay, so I keep walking to the street, and then he asked me, "Can you make molds?" And I said, "Yes." "Okay, if we need you, we will call you." And then I was right by the entrance of the Mundo de Azulejos, just to walk away from there. And then he asked me a third question. "Can you make mother molds?" And I said, "Yeah." "Okay, come, let's talk a little bit." So we talked a little bit, and then I stayed there. I almost worked 5 years
with Mundo Azulejos.
Yeah, I only make molds there, models and molds and mother molds.
So you were making molds of what? Figurines?
No, whatever people ask, because sometimes things doesn't exist. So they said, "Oh, we want something like this, looking like that." And so I make the original, I make the first mold, and then I make the mother mold. And if it was for production or something, then I make at least 10 molds of each.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
wow. So you knew how to do all that stuff, and he wanted to talk to you, and you worked there for 5 years. Now, you have been working in ceramics for a long time, right? When you arrived, you know how to make molds, you know how to do all this stuff. You've been doing this for like your life, right?
Yeah, I started when I was 17. I'm 58 now. So I was in different parts of the country, and I was in the United States and some other parts. So because I didn't got any studio or workshop or place, my own place to work, I always look for other place for work. And when I was in one studio or different cities or in the United States, they use different steps to create their own style. And that means they develop more one technique than another studio. So that also they improve some innovations for be more practical in the things they produce. So that allowed me to learn different things in different studios, and also in factories. Factories is very picky because everything have to be perfect. Is why now I do this kind of work very rustic, because in many years I was doing this, I became very sick and very tired to do pretty things.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not interested in to do those things anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there is nothing symmetric about anything that I'm looking at around me right now. It's all very unique, and it looks like much of it has to do with the ocean and the sea.
Well, I believe wherever you are, you have to work with this around you, because if I go to, I don't know, I will say Paris, and I cannot keep making coconut palm trees, or I have to see what is around there to get new stuff.
Yeah.
Because I believe that we have to work with the environment, and we cannot keep just. Some people does, and it's okay to me, but not for me. I don't do that.
No. Let's talk about your materials. Is it difficult to get good clay to work with?
Yeah, it is very difficult here, more than other places, because where the clay is mostly ejido. That is farmers people, but they don't farm, and they own the land, but they are not real owners. They got no titles, but they got totally control of hectares or acres or whatever. So, because they don't cultivate, they don't do many things around, they charge you more than any. I mean, they are kind of nuts, because also the tourism, the influence, they want to make more money for nothing. So it's very expensive compared with include United States. It's very expensive in Puerto Vallarta, the clay.
Interesting. Wow.
Because they don't allow you to go inside the land to dig. And
so they bring you the clay. They don't let you do it?
No, I have to go. Before I live also in El Tuito. I moved there because the clay was around, the good clay. And but it was hard to get the clay, because they think they are selling gold. It's more inexpensive to buy a land than to buy clay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. If you buy a square meter of land, okay, but you have to buy a big lot.
Yeah.
And then you dig your own if it's a possibility, and still you own the land because you only want the clay is in there.
Yeah. But
I'm not interested in doing that, because you cannot buy 1 or 2 meters. You need to buy a bunch.
Yeah, sure do.
So it's hard. It's hard. People are very different here than other places.
All right, let me get this straight. So you go over to the ejido and you say, I need to get some clay. And you go walk in there and you go find where you go to where your clay is, because you know where to find the good clay.
Yes.
And then you dig it, and then they look at it and go, that'll be just a bunch of money, sir. And then there you go.
Well, compare with like a clay you buy in a bag in ceramic supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you've got this clay that you've pulled out of the ground. And by the way, anybody that pulls their own clay out of the ground, I got to tip my hat to you. Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Because you're not just buying it. You're actually you're
No,
buying it,
no,
but you're actually
and-
going out and getting it.
and give the balance of the mixture, because this clay only got river sand, but you have to get the good percentage to be able to do something, and for the purpose I wanted, you have to be versatile for modeling. What people, I don't know what they call sculpting, because for me it's just modeling. Sculpting for me is to hit the rock. That strictly for me is that. To do anything about with clay, any size, for me is modeling.
Got it.
Yeah. And this clay allowed me to do different kind of things. So, yeah, I don't dig often like when I was in El Tuito. Now somebody else, because I realize it's not much difference in the price. It's a couple pesos for kilo. Okay, you do it. So I just go there until teaching them how to do more, be more productive. And one of these person, I give them a throwing classes on the wheel.
Good. So a good trade-off.
It's not exchange.
No.
No, I do
You
this
pay
for
'em.
free.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
I understood.
Yeah.
All right. So you have been here since the 90s. You have not been in the same location. You've been around, right?
No, we have to move often because we cannot afford to live in Conchachinas or these fancy places. So it's always something with the landlords. You stay there for 6 months and they raise the rent. And if they see you taking care of the place or try to build something, then they look at and they raise the rent.
Wow.
So this is Vallarta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of that before.
Yeah,
I've heard
yeah.
of
So
that before.
the owner lives just next door, and he just don't move and nothing here. So we have to fix the whole house, because the whole house have 16 years with more, 18 years without nothing. So we have to fix the whole roof.
Oh yeah. Well, you've done nice on the inside and on the outside. I see that Adrian Tacano did a nice mural on the outside.
Yeah, it's more, it's nicer.
Well, yeah, and it probably
live
helps
there.
draw some people into your place, which is the whole idea. What is your concept here? It does, like I said, it is this. There's a lot of the sea, there's a lot of the ocean, and a lot of playful things. What would you say are the best-selling items that you make?
Well, I cannot say the best, because I do all the time different things. And if I don't believe in do something, and because that thing is gone, somebody pay for more easy than other things. No, I have to do different things all the time. I don't repeat, because I quit factories because of that.
Good for you.
So they look alike because it's ceramic, is nothing new under the sun, but each piece got some different ones from each other. So that's what I like most. But of course I know what is easy money. I learned in 40 years and what is easy money, particularly Puerto Vallarta, but I'm not interested, absolutely zero to do those kind of things.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well, and it shows what you just are very creative. I love all the pieces, and they're all different.
Yeah, I'm not masochist, but
Well, I don't know. You're sounding like you're leaning in that direction. So better be careful there.
it's
Okay,
it's a very easy market in Vallarta, but I'm not interested.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Vallarta itself, because you've been here a long time.
Yes.
Do you have some favorite fondas or little hole-in-the-wall places to eat?
Well, we go out, my wife and I, eventually, but we don't do that often. we mostly cook.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And most of our friends came to this house to eat. But if we go out, I will say I will choose what is the most authentic flavors, what I'm familiar with. That is the upstairs in market, the municipal market. Particularly one place.
Yeah, tell me the one that you like.
It's Don Antonio is the name of the fonda. And I've been eating there since I came here the very first day. So I never get sick. I like what they do. and I keep going there with my wife or friends. I invite them there because it's good food, it's simple food, and it's healthy, and it's clean.
Yeah.
And, eventually we want to eat not Mexican, so we go to, I don't know, sushi, or we go to some restaurants by the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes to Bonito Kitchen, but we don't go often. Yeah, we cook.
Yeah, I've heard about Bonito Kitchen. What do they have there?
Well, when I was in Montreal with my wife, we like this. I think it's Vietnamese. The soup, I think, name's satay soup. So there is something I like, and some kind of the flavor.
Uh-huh.
But compared with Canada and here, it's very expensive Bonito Kitchen for me. It's and small dishes. The soup there is huge plate, it's a big bowl, and here is not. So
yeah.
Only when the cravings are killing, we go.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. Wow. All right. If you were going to get out of town for a day and go somewhere and then come back, where would you go?
Well, mostly we got a dog, so. But most of the times we walk around. It's a very beautiful places around Puerto Vallarta. Many people doesn't know, but of course I see how it changed since I came here the first times, and how it's now. It's many things are gone.
Yeah.
So particularly forests, and wild natural places, they don't exist anymore. But still places hiding somewhere we like to go to. If we want to go for one day or two, we go to Chacala, Nayarit.
Chacala,
we go often there.
Okay. What do you do when you go there? What is there to do in Chacala?
Well, one of the main things, I got a friend there who owns an engraving studio, Gráfica Chacala. He's one of my favorite artists in this part of the country. And sometimes we get involved with the community. It's what I like to do, to get with the people from the villages, from the children, and show them some of the process to make ceramic.
Mm-hmm.
And some other people came and asked me questions, like those who make bricks, and asked me how I prepare the clay to do these kind of things, because they work with clay, but for another purpose. And they get interesting, so I like to get involved with the community. I rather 1,000 times to do that than to give to get people here who wants they don't want to learn, they just want to make things, but I'm not interested in to give this kind of classes for people who believe they're gonna come 3 times and they're gonna fill the kitchen with all dishes, and I'm not. This is not a class. This is to steal money. I love to teach, but those who are interested in ceramics seriously, who wants to make their living or passing the techniques, because it's very old technique. It's thousands of years old, and I don't want to put that in people who want to come 5 times, and then they do something else because they got money and time. So I'm not interested at all to do that. It's for me like I put water in a bucket with a big hole.
Right.
So this is for people interesting, and
But you have taught classes to people who are interested, or it sounds to me like really that you don't get involved in that.
No, well, only with some close people and friends. But right now is one guy around who wants to learn, and there is another guy in El Tuito. But to teach this guy in El Tuito is to teach the whole family. So that's what I like, because they make bricks, but they want to do something else with the same material.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in doing that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's wonderful. If you have a word of advice for a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta, what would it be? Besides coming here, Froylan, and buying a piece of your beautiful ceramics.
Well, it's just what we have to do wherever we go. Is just to get some common sense, because Vallarta is mostly for God fun. This is not a cultural place. This is a place where people wants to enjoy the beach, the sun, the margaritas. Well, what I suggest is to buy local things. Not because of me, I'm not on the map, but for those who produce here in the town, and we got no way to compete with China or with big companies. But if you go to one store like here, you see nothing. But you go to Walmart, it's full of people. But, it's just everybody got their own conscience. But get more involved with some of the real spirit of Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Are you online? Do you have like a web page? Do you have like a Facebook page or anything like that?
Yeah, it's a Facebook page named Cerámica Vallarta, Froylan Hernandez. And then you go easily there.
And then you can see it. You have pictures of your stuff in there?
Yeah, mostly it's pictures.
Do you take pictures of your new stuff, or you just
it's a new. We're still working on it. But
okay.
There is one place where people can see some old stuff there.
Yeah. Well, Froylan does really fine work, and you're going to find out when you come to his place. I will have a map in the show notes that will take you to the front door. I'll hook up the Facebook page, so you got that too. And I'll take some pictures of the inside and of Froylan too, so that you can see what he looks like. He's a cool-looking guy, man. He looks like he could be my neighbor. As a matter of fact, look at him, man. All right. Is there anything I forgot? Did I miss anything that you want to talk about before we say goodbye today?
Well, just welcome to Vallarta. Take care of yourself, and it's a lot of temptation around, but also get depends the part of the year. You can get some information about some local artists, and well, they work here. They got their own studios around. It's not many, but just enjoy your visiting in Puerto Vallarta, and welcome.
Excelente. Okay, you guys, you heard it. Come and see some of the less-known artists. Some of them, they're hanging up on the streets. And like I said, I'll have a map that'll take you right over to Froylan's place. Thank you, senor. Gracias for talking with me.
De nada, buen día. Buen día, Barry. Hasta luego.
All right. Thank you, Froylan. I really, really liked his work. And, when you are in Puerto Vallarta, you'll really enjoy it too. Go ahead and stop in his studio and check out what he has new there. I have pictures of the studio, of the inside and the outside, and they are in the show notes for this episode. You really need to see his work, and I also have a map that will take you right to the front door of his studio there on Calle Abasolo. And like I said, it'll be really easy to find because, well, you'll see that mural painted by Adrian Decano. Very cool. All right, so that should do it for this week. Now, next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant and excursion ideas, and more. And until then, remember, this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, then please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and send us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition, my friends. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying, thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else. So just do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, JR has his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. I'll have links to it all over in my show notes, all over my website, or just go to vallartainfo.com and check it out yourselves. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and give me a good review on iTunes if you would. That way, we'll get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And remember, I made it easy for you to do that with each episode I create. If you haven't been to my website, shame on you, really. You gotta go check it out. I have links to all the places that we talk about. I have interesting pictures and more right there in the blog posts and in the show notes for every episode of the show. So check them out, really, for sure. All right? Okay. Hey, thank you, Froylan Hernandez. You are great. Thanks for coming on the show. Make sure you stop in and see him, buy one of his cool ceramic pieces. They're all one-of-a-kind pieces there. And thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler, signing off with a wish for all of you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino interno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta, samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Oh, samba de Puerto Vallarta.